I'm Cate Ritter, a licensed psilocybin facilitator with Prism Bend. Today I'm joined by Julia, who's going to share about her recent licensed psilocybin journey with me in Bend, Oregon. Hi, Julia. Thank you so much for joining me. So, what called you to experience a licensed psilocybin journey?
So, I have been trying, I've been doing, not trying, I've been doing for like 4 years. It was like 3 years after my mom passed away, and I realized I needed to do more than my spiritual practices to get to what was it just felt like I was no longer functioning. Like I had a hard time making phone calls, socializing. Um, and so then that took me into this direction of psychosomatic practices and different drugs that could help with that, right? And I've always been a very granola person in a way. Like I love natural is like wow. That's if I can go for natural, fantastic.
Mhm.
Um, and I felt so it was so incredible to have something that allowed me to feel what I needed to feel uh, without having to talk about it because talking about it made it worse.
Mhm.
And I had that experience with ketamine, like microdosing on ketamine. And I
Mhm.
was so curious about psilocybin because I had read about the different plants and how they have different teachers. So it was all about like, wow, I really want to go, I want to be free. I want to be free. I really do. That's like so important to me. And it has been life altering to do all of this journey. And yeah, and then it ended up that this was absolutely, I had always heard that psilocybin had more of a sacred cosmic, and that's like right up my alley. I want that sacred journey because I think it's all sacred. I think everything that happened was sacred, even though it was so damn painful and difficult.
Well,
Yeah.
and we did two 1 hour prep sessions before your journey to help you prepare and feel comfortable and confident before your journey day even arrived. Can you tell us a little bit about what the preparation process was like for you? Anything that you found most helpful?
It was it was first of all, it was super helpful because I had done another trip and you don't know what you don't know. So my reference was that.
Yeah.
And preparation is huge. I mean, it felt like I like to do fasting every now and then, for cleansing purposes, and the way you go into fast and the fast and the way you go out of fast is just as powerful and it's important, right? Writing to so I never that never even occurred, but
Yeah.
how beautiful the power of because I've always been very intentional about all of this. Like on the one hand, being like oh, okay, I want to have intentions, but I want to let go, that holding, like not clenching, but not, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and so it was beautiful because it really resourced me and brought my attention to that. And it did, like you said, actually, I remember you saying, hey, the moment you sign up for this, it started. And it's so true, just like a vision quest. Yeah. So it was super helpful to have those. Yeah. Loved it.
Good. Good. Yeah, and people are always amazed that, the moment you set that intention to work with psilocybin starts popping up on your radar and kind of leaving, breadcrumbs and guiding you on this path. And as we talked about too in our last integration session just recently, right, that psilocybin doesn't stop there after your journey either. It keeps working with you. So I love that you've noticed that connection in day-to-day life.
Yeah. Oh, completely, completely. And another thing you said, which I rolled my eyes, you said, oh my God, and some people, I mean, they literally write a list,
Yeah.
almost like a to-do list. And I was like, there's and it's like it's everything gets checked off. everything you asked for. Yeah. And I did. I got everything I asked for. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. So, and tell us a little bit about the service center space. We had your journey at Bendable Service Center downtown. Can you tell us a little bit about what that was like arriving at the space, spending the pretty much the duration of your journey day at the space? Anything there that stood out to you?
First of all, I loved that it's a house. I love that. There's just, I'm a homebody, and so yeah, it was like it was very neat to be in a house. I loved how you had our bed set up. I felt like a kid, like, oh, my bed is set. And, beautiful, colorful. Everything in the room is during the trip. It was so interesting because there's the first impression, being sober, so to speak. And then during the trip, it was like amazing. There is that piece that has a 3D kind of component. It's kind of
Like the wood tapestry kind of, I don't know what you would call it, but yeah, there's a wood structure that has pieces kind of popping out at you. And it is interesting how all the pieces in the room are selected with intention and can really play a big part of the journey.
you can totally see that. It's like curated. I loved um I loved how you had fresh flowers. I mean, it's endless. There were so many special like details and so loving, and the beautiful little altar with oracle cards and I just, yeah, I felt very, it's interesting because, of course we want to feel safe, obviously, but I didn't realize how important that was until I was on my back
Mm.
and very vulnerable. And I felt like I could just let go. It's like I'm being held, you know, by the medicine, by you. I felt very supported. Oh my God. Yeah, felt very supported.
Let's talk a little bit about the music. I created a playlist for you, and I'm wondering how the music and the playlist influenced and impacted your experience.
Okay, so when you said, "Oh, guys, I'm working on the playlist, it's gonna be just right," I thought, "Oh, okay, cool." I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things like until you experience, right? And the music was insane. I mean, the music was, it was like I was being played by the music. And it's incredible because another thing you said, I love this because I really feel like you planted all these seeds. And then it's so fun because it's almost like a little treasure hunt. It's like, this is what she was talking about. So yesterday I was listening, I want at the end of my day, and I made it very, like a moment that I could actually be with the music. And oh, it took me back in so many ways. And yeah, there was a lot of nature in it, which was so perfect because nature was so big for me during my journey. Yeah, just it's a wow. It almost like yeah, I feel like the playlist was just as important as everything else that was set up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's why I nerd out and I spend extra time on each person's playlist, just feeling into like what's going to be most efficient and effective for their journey and what their intentions are and how I can support them as well. So I'm so glad you guys felt that. Um, and also, I took some notes for you during the journey as well, and typed those up and sent them to you before our first integration session. Was that helpful? Anything there that you didn't remember or was good confirmation? Like anything about the notes that you want to share?
I love the notes because there is no way that I could have written anything. There's no way. And to have somebody actually, because it is like stream of consciousness, um and it was so good. I actually am, just as I'm talking to you, I want to read the notes while listening to the music. I mean, that's going to be like wow, ba bam. So Yes, reading the notes, same thing. Um, Brought back, and it's so funny because he was like, "Oh my God, how did I not remember that?"
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that funny? It's like it was
Yeah.
right there. But I had to read it on paper and be like, "Oh my God, I remember that." So, and then it took me into the other insights that were coming with that one sentence, right?
Mm,
Because it's like I seriously felt like I was having ahas for 5 or 6 hours. It was
mm,
like so many insights, so many insights, so many
mm.
instantly understood insights. Yeah. It was very magical. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love to hear that. And if you don't mind sharing any more details too about your journey itself, like what you experienced, anything you feel comfortable with sharing there, any of those
Mm,
aha insights or kind of themes or things that came up during your journey.
absolutely. So my intention was I wanted to meet my maker. I wanted to, it was like, okay, I want to experience God. And, I've been on a spiritual path forever, and these become very hackneyed, love is everywhere. God is in everything, we're all God, and it's true. It was so, but it was so like, wow, like understanding something from this, multifaceted, and I was bawling my head. I mean, I was crying for most of it. But in the most, I felt so gently held through it. It was not, I never felt scared, which, I mean, even right now, there's this like it's such a softening to be held in that amount of pain and in difficult memories and there was no critic present, right? It was just
Mhm.
a very loving witness of everything. There was
Mhm.
no, this is okay, this is not so great. Oh, but none of that, which was so, oh,
Yeah.
and I could feel, okay, this was incredible. I could literally feel my body shifting and changing uh, at a very deep level. More than I get even when I get a really good body work session, where for sure you're releasing stuff from your tissues. It was like that. It was like the most incredible body work session happening as well. And yeah, it was a lot about seeing God in everything, including all the pain.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so we didn't do like a full sound therapy session during your journey. That would be too much. However, I did bring in some of my sound therapy instruments, some Zen bowls, some tuning forks. Do you want to share a little bit about what that was like during your journey to have, say, a tuning fork placed on your heart, right? One that was the Schumann resonance. What did
Yeah.
that feel like? Did it help you release anything, process anything? Anything you want to share around that?
That was incredible. That was incredible. And I thought your timing was amazing. I mean, yeah, because it was like, I could use a little more here because my body, even though it was very, very gentle, like I said, like profoundly gentle, it still was so much that when you started, you went up and down my spine as well, and then you went on some points here, which was amazing. It was like every time you did it, almost like helping pump in some energy because it was at times I was having a little bit of my diaphragm was almost spasming, to be honest, because of all the crying, right? And so that helped it release. Talk about feeling it in the body. Yeah. And having that support at a body level. I was so grateful. My gosh. I couldn't speak to you, but I was really grateful. I was just like, ow, but it was like, oh, thank God she's doing this. It was so good. Oh,
Good. I'm so glad to hear. And tell me a little bit too about um, integration. Like, what have you noticed since our integration sessions, since your journey? Like, any shifts or changes physically, emotionally, spiritually, anything there you want to share?
absolutely. One of the things that is very apparent is first of all, I feel like a different person. I do. I talked to my, well, I've talked to all my siblings since because they all showed up, right? And I was like, did you receive all the love I sent you? It was so much love. They were right there with me. It was like this whole thing, in my energy work, energy is energy. Energy is everywhere. So you can treat somebody from a distance.
Yeah.
100%. Why wouldn't you be able to, right? We're all tapped in, same pond. So anyway, and sure enough, they have some stories, which was wonderful. And then my oldest brother, which sometimes we in our history have entered that older brother programming dynamic, where it's like, come on, honey. And it was so beautiful because he looked at me and he said, honey, you're like different. And it was the conversation was different because he was so receptive. There was none of that dynamic was there. And I know that that's partly all to me, in my belief system, let's call it, um, I see that all the work that we do pays backwards and forwards. And yeah, and I am feeling it. I'm feeling more spacious, um, much more things that would trigger me very quickly, that I would quickly get merged with a certain type of reaction. They're almost happening in a slow time, and it's slow enough that I'm like, oh, and I can go like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that. You're kind of observing things instead of just reacting.
Yeah. Yes. Being able to be more and more the witness and, oh, I actually have a choice here. How cool is
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you journeyed with your husband. Do you mind sharing what was that like, kind of sharing the space with him? Has this helped your relationship in any way after the journey? Are you guys communicating better? Any shifts or changes there?
I highly recommend. To me, it's not even like a comparison because they're such different things, to do it alone. The the one I've done before, I did alone, um, versus doing together. They're just very different animals. And I loved having my husband there. It was he there is a deepening. There is a deepening. It's these lived experiences that are so profound. I mean, this is talk about deep and to have him be there and to be witnessing each other in such a state of vulnerability and openness. Oh, there's something absolutely remarkable about that. That's never, I'm never going to forget that. And moments where I was concerned, and we talked about this, of like, I feel like it's such an introspective thing, right? Like such an inwards. And, it was fine. We were right besides each other. Sometimes he was adorable. Sometimes he was across the mattress. The mattresses, but for the
Did put
most,
a little pillow bridge in between, so
it was so good. Even when our arms were touching each other, I felt this little cushion coming under, from our.
I never want people to get, sore or be like, oh, where was my shoulder this whole time? Why does it hurt so bad? Right. So I'm like a silent ninja just going around the space, making sure there's pillows and everything around you.
So sweet. We felt so loved, so held. It was amazing. And it was really, there was something about having him there and having you there and having this, we were just, I don't know, probably this was only for us, but it was like this divine feminine. And And that's something I love about Michael. He has that. He embraces that. Especially I'm from Brazil, right? So the different conditioning, the guys are more macho, generalization, but they are more macho energy, and it's something I love about him. He has a fam side that I love, and yeah, it was magical. It was wonderful. And I do feel like it helped. It's a deepening. It's like every time we go through something major, there is a deepening of our understanding of each other and honoring of each other's histories. Yeah.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And what was it like having myself, right, a professional guide supporting you throughout this process from preparation to integration? You mentioned you had the psilocybin experience before. However, I don't think it had necessarily all the support. You didn't get to choose the strains or really know exactly what you dosed even. And so, and maybe sharing a little bit about, people considering having a guide versus not having a guide. What would you tell them?
And hands down, I was like that. I had the, I have to laugh, makes me a little nervous. I had the fantasy that I could do it alone. I do not recommend. I do not recommend doing this alone. And my God, it was so important to have that, so important because it was like having this guiding hand through an experience that is tremendously powerful, and that you need support. You need support. I wouldn't. Yeah, if I had taken a dose, whatever, and can you imagine if I did it on my own and I'm self-dose? Oh my God, yeah, that would have been a horrible idea. Um, Very grateful, very grateful. Everybody that I share about this, I'm like, you have to. I mean, hands down, it's like night and day. Yeah. And I feel like you get so much more out of it.
Mm.
That's the thing. You get so much more out of it because every part of that journey was really like resourced, by you, by your knowledge of it, by uh, you telling me things that I had no idea were going to happen, and there they are. It's like, yeah, it was. I cannot imagine doing this alone. And I would say that, yeah, make sure that you're getting somebody who really knows what they are doing, really knows what they are doing.
Very, very important. Yes.
That you trust them. I feel lucky because I've told you this. I feel like I trust you so absolutely, and you were so solid. You were solid. Oh, I'm
Mm.
so grateful. Really
Oh,
grateful. Oh my God. Yeah.
that
Because
means a lot. Appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well,
so
and
much.
we chose some particular strains too as part of your experience. So we started with 20 milligrams, which is kind of the standard. We chose a strain called Shakti, and then we boosted, so a secondary dose, about an hour into your journey with another strain called Huatla. And both of these were whole mushrooms. What was it like connecting with these I call them your new friends, right? Like these little adorable mushrooms, right? And ingesting those. Did you feel like you could notice the difference between the strains? Like were there different personalities of psilocybin coming through teaching you? Like anything there you want to share?
Well, that is interesting because they shared some qualities, didn't they? Because
Yeah.
you were explaining, which I loved. That's the other thing, like right there. Like to have somebody telling you, hey, there's this strain here, and depending on your intention and based on our conversations, I think you could really use this one. And so I loved that. I didn't even know that there were strains. I mean, that's the level of my ignorance on that one. And then the being with the actual mushroom was actually really dear. It was just so special. And yeah, like making it one with me, is how I felt. Like, wow, this is me now, Um, yeah, and then very intentionally, very just being with it, chewing it, the whole thing was so the experience, the tactile, the visual, and you make it so sweet too with with these little, I mean, you feel like you're getting all these gifts, and they're perfectly wrapped and they were beautiful. I don't know that I felt the difference because what I did feel the characteristics you had shared for sure. The cosmic connection, the ancestral connection, which I wanted. Oh my God, I ever get it? It was incredible. Um, I felt like that's the thing, like the list of things that I had asked for, and I didn't read you that list.
Yeah, you didn't.
Wow. It was like here. It's right here. Um, so beautiful. It meets you. It meets you, you know? Um, yeah. I mean, I wish I could live in that kind of cosmic connection all the time. And for me, it's been, thank God for integration because it's like, wait a minute, there's this it was the top of the mountain, right? And then it's being spirit in this human experience, right? And bringing all and knowing that I can have that, not
Yeah.
at that level, not like that exactly, but yes, I have that. Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I checked in with you throughout your journey, but did you have any anxiety at all throughout your journey? Did that show up ever?
Not at all. And I was scared about nausea. Not
Yeah,
at all.
that was my next question. Yeah.
Not at all. And I loved the honey. That was really wonderful to have there. Um, God, it was, yeah, I don't know if it's because the mushrooms are so clean and your source is so, careful about how they grow, but I was very impressed. It was like it was pure. It was so pure. You could taste it. They did taste different.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, but I don't know that I felt like the 20 I did feel you were awesome about it because all of a sudden you said, "Hey, it's been an hour," which was like
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Somebody is helping with this, thank goodness. And but I did feel at that point like my mind was still very active. Like
Mhm.
I was halfway. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like one foot in, one foot out. And then I felt like the booster was super, like perfect. Yeah, yeah,
Good. Oh,
yeah.
I love that. So, if you were to sum up your journey in a word or phrase, this is challenging, but what might that be?
It was divine.
Mm.
It was sacred.
And if you were to give someone advice that's never done psilocybin before and is considering maybe a licensed legal journey, what would you share with them?
I would go for it. And I would go with, yes, like in this setup. And I would, oh my gosh, I want to do it again and again. Of course, I don't know yet. We're talking about this, right? Like what's the time frame and how often? But my God, come on. I got years of therapy. Are you kidding me? It was years of therapy in 6 hours. That is, wow. That's incredible. And it wasn't like years of tough therapy either. It was actually, like I said, yeah, I was bawling. Yes, I was, feeling profoundly, but I was held, I was supported. Um, my God, yeah, go for it. Totally.
I appreciate that. Is there anything else you want to share about your journey or anything that you think is important to mention before we sign off this call today?
No, I think we covered it. I want to
Okay.
do it again. And yeah, I think this is the most incredible opportunity. Oh my gosh, what an amazing gift, seriously, that we get to wow, to take care of our baggage.
Thank you so much, Julia, for joining me today and sharing your experience. I really appreciate you, and I'm so looking forward to staying connected.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.